Hello, Virgo. Your weekly love tarot reading begins with a page of cups, King of Wands, nice, Four of Swords, and the High Priestess. So if you're watching this video, welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot. Chances are you're brand new to my channel. And in my weekly love tarot readings, I always take a look at the other person in this connection. So your person is coming in with a Nine of Cups, a Magician. They see the relationship as a Nine of Wands, more nine energy. And then we have the Fool. Wow, at the bottom of this deck, we have the Two of Swords. Wow. All right. That came right at you. Sorry about that, guys. Two of Swords energy is Moon and Libra energy. Let's move this up just a little bit. Yeah, Moon and Libra energy, trying to make a decision, trying to find a way forward. Sometimes that Two of Swords can be quite so it can be quite demanding, right? It's like sometimes those options that you feel like you're being forced to choose. You're given a couple of options. Six of Cups at the bottom. You're given a couple of options that you were given, you didn't have a choice in choosing those options, right? So you're just given two options and it's like thrown into suddenly having to make a choice, and that's very difficult. We're going to come back to that, of course, but Virgo, right away, your energy and your person. What's going on with the two of you right now? You are resonating with Page of Cups, and they are resonating with a Nine of Cups energy. So, interesting, right? Because for you, there's a feeling here of curiosity. There's a feeling here of wanting to sort of make contact, right? Limited contact, curious contact. Page of Cups is just kind of figuring out that they like somebody. They're just figuring out that, oh, wow, I find this person interesting, or there's something that turns me on about them, right? And Nine of Cups for your person, well, they're feeling pretty good. They're happy. They're happy in their life. They're happy in their relationships. It seems as though everything on an emotional level is very blissful, right, and satisfying. Let's go ahead and start shuffling your clarifying deck. But we're going to go a little bit deeper, Virgo, all right? We're going to go a little bit deeper into you and to your person to see what's going on, to see what, who are they right now? What are they dealing with? And the same goes for you. That Page of Cups, why are you so curious, right? Is this a new lover? So let's see. Show me Page of Cups, Virgo. What's going on here? Where is this curiosity coming from? Ten of Pentacles, Five of Wands. So this individual feels like right now, right, Virgo, something about success right now. You're feeling quite successful, I want to say. Your person is also quite successful. There's a lot of abundance to go around, right? All this abundance to go around. So it's interesting because it almost feels here, the energy I feel here, Virgo, is that you've met somebody on your level. You've met somebody who's kind of, doing as well as you're doing. And almost it feels as though, they're on your level in terms of, how they live their life. And there's some Five of Wands energy here. There's also a lot of competition around this person. There's a lot of people vying for their attention. And I think that that's made you very curious. Five of Wands does feel like a struggle here. So for some of you, it does feel like maybe you've been competing with someone, or maybe there's been some posturing, who's the cutest, who's the best, who's like, and it doesn't matter, male, female, it doesn't matter, but it does feel like, your curiosity has been sort of ignited a lot more because there's been a bit of a conflict with some people around you who may also be interested in this individual, right? So your person, let's see a little bit more about that Nine of Cups energy. Two of Pentacles, and there's the Devil. So this is what I was talking about in terms of you both, being quite simpatico, and maybe what's drawing you to them, right? They're really busy, Virgo, and you like being busy too. You're a worker, you like getting it in, but they're also busy. They're juggling a lot. They're really capable. And you both, I feel like you both share this. You both share sort of doing well, doing well, being prosperous, whether it's your own business or a job or what have you, being, your cash flow is nice, you're able to take care of your responsibilities. And still the devil energy is there though. Watch out. Okay, so devil has, there's a lot to that devil card. Your person is coming in, and I want to say there's a little bit of a smugness here. Coming back to that Five of Wands, I think this person is used to people fighting over them, is used to kind of, I want to say, commanding a certain amount of attention. You see that? You see how smug. Let me see if I can get closer. You see how smug she looks right there? She's like, I got it. I got it. And the devil's right there too. He's like, I got it too. I got it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't feel bad energy here. I don't feel toxicity, but I do feel somebody who knows how good they look. They know how good they're doing. They know how capable they are. Devil energy there. There's some fire, playing with fire, possibly playing with energies here that may be toxic. Let me keep it real. That may be toxic, right? I get a feeling of playing with fire here with that devil. Okay. So we'll go deeper into that when I do the extended, but let's move on to how you both see each other. Well, you see a King of Wands and they see a Magician. Again, a feeling of you guys being very much on the same level, right? You see somebody who is fiery. Again, we have male, female characters and all of the tarot, but that doesn't mean that we're dealing with a man or a woman. Here you have your person characterized as a female, but here you see them as a King of Wands, and it's just the energies. And the King of Wands is just just idealistic to an extreme. Of course, very fiery, but a leader. King of Wands is such a leader, just oftentimes outspoken. Leo energy, very much Leo energy. That type of fire that is very confident, that type of fire that everybody wants to be around. They want to be like the King of Wands. They can't be the King of Wands. There's only one king. And so this person is just somebody who's very sort of direct. And you see this. In fact, well, whether they are or they aren't, this is what you see of them, right? They see you as a magician. So magician energy, again, it feels like they see they see your capabilities. They see everything that you're able to do, your confidence. They see the things right now. They view you as somebody who accomplishes things quite naturally. Again, there's been some competition here. I think you've kind of fought for this person's attention, but again, that devil here, this person strikes me as they may be the type of people that people get infatuated with or obsessed with, not through any fault of their own, but just who they are. And so it's like jealousy and competition follows them. I just keep coming back to that. But let's go further in. Let's get deeper into, I want to see that Magician actually. A card fell out. Chariot. I want to, oh, and another card fell out. Okay, Knight of Pentacles. So there you have it. They see in you a real power couple scenario. Chariot and Knight of Pentacles. They see that they see that you are somebody they can have a future with. There's a certain level of respect here. It almost feels as though, I know this is so old-fashioned to say, but it almost feels as though, because they do have Two of Swords, right? Like they have multiple suitors coming in, and they are taking their time deciding, or they've taken their time deciding, or they're at least able to put them in a space, put themselves in a space where they can decide, like, okay, well, who's better for me? Who can do more for me? Who can I have a future with? I don't feel a lot of love connection here. This almost feels like an arranged marriage. Arranged marriage. Yes. It almost feels like that. I don't know why I whispered because it just seems so taboo, but different strokes for different folks. Some people, it's a cultural thing, and some people thrive in that environment. And if you don't get out and if you love it with all your heart. That's what I say, but it feels like that. It feels like arranged. And when I say arranged, don't assume that that is just in other place. Well, when I say other places, I'm in the US. In other places of the world or whatever, America, and, in all cultures, we have our versions of arranged, that husband or wife that your family approves of, right? That is in your, who knows, your social stature, your financial status, your racial, ethnic, cultural background, religious background, whatever the case may be. We have that's everywhere all over the world. There is forms of this kind of arrangement. What pulls through? Four of Wands fell through. So it just feels like you know what I mean? It just feels like that kind of vibe. Like they're kind of just checking out to see still. It isn't so much like deep, deep love has sprung up. They have relationships and they're happy where they're at. What else is coming in for you? There's your Knight of Swords. Okay, so Four of Wands, Nine of Swords, when you see them, they see you. They see a possible future together. They see a path forward. They see Knight of Pentacles energy. They can see that this is something they're willing to work for. When you see them, you see love as well. But you also see a battle. Like again, I feel like um Knight of Swords energy, cutting away anything, cutting away all of all of the competition, all of your foes, your enemies, etc. There's a real battle vibe here. And certainly when you see them as a King of Wands, but I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like there's something cutthroat you see about them too. Virgo, it's like that Knight of Swords, like, again, I don't feel a whole lot of affectionate, deep, deep soulmate love here. Yes, Four of Wands is there. That's also can represent, oftentimes 11 and 11 card. It is, we talk about it as a soulmate connection. And soulmate connections, listen, they come about in many different ways. A lot of times we assume that it always has to just be this big love, romance, excuse my jacked up nails, this big, old romantic love and all of that. But Four of Wands actually talks about stability. It talks about stability. It talks about a celebration. It talks about a happy union. It talks about a stable and happy union that everyone around agrees is going to have longevity and a future. So that's really more of what this energy is all about. And that's really what you feel like. You feel this is a promising match. But you do see in them Knight of Swords energy. Do you see that when you see them, you see battles ahead. It's not going to be easy for some reason. Again, I might get into that in the extended. All right, guys. So Four of Swords and Nine of Wands is how you both see your parts in this relationship or this relationship. For you, Four of Swords, really thinking about it. You're really thinking about your next move here. What do I do? What's going on? I want to say that this is really important to you. Move some of these over. This is really important to you. And so with that Four of Swords, you're not trying to be rash or impulsive in this decision here. I'm going to, of course, go deeper with the clarifiers, but that Nine of Wands is there for your person. It feels as though Nine of Wands, interesting, in the position of the relationship or how they see themselves in the relationships. It almost feels as though they have been through quite a lot and trying to find, or they've been through a lot on this path. Now, for some of you, this may not be, as I say, an arranged situation. You may be just dealing with somebody who's really taken their time to find the right person. And they may have indeed been through a lot of toxic and difficult relationships. Devil energy there, right? Devil can be there as well because they themselves have had to deal with so much toxicity. And that is, in their forehead, that's in the foreground of their mind. And so sometimes when you're dealing with somebody like that, they require more information. They're not allowing their heart to open up to that space of deep love and exchange and growing together just yet. They want to be sure. They're checking you out. They want to be sure. They've been through a lot already. And so this is not to say that this relationship wouldn't turn into a heavy, hot, passionate love affair. It just feels like there's a lot of boundaries right now, and it feels like it's all done in a very protective way. So Four of Swords is there for you. Let's get a little bit deeper with that. Hanged Man energy. Wow. And a 10 of Cups. Yeah, you have an outlook. There's a particular outlook that you have. And Hangman is really interesting. Sometimes hangman can mean so many things, being stubbornly committed to a path that isn't working, that's outrageous, that's ridiculous, or being lazy and unwilling to open your mind and see something new. It can sometimes indicate that you're ready for inspiration, that, the path that you've adhered to and that you've stuck on so stubbornly has indeed led to inspiration, right? That's always symbolized by that halo around the hangman's head. But here I almost feel like you want happiness here, right? You want happiness here. And with this hanged man, it's interesting. You know for a fact that you have a certain view of the world that you're just not willing to give up. I think you get strength from that, right? It could it could be like just like your own sort of cultural sort of adherences, etc., belief system, etc. But it's interesting. It feels like you know what is needed here to do. You know what you need to do. You know how to it feels to me like, Virgo, you know how to get this love out of this connection, this 10 of Cups, to get this person from a 9 of Cups up to a 10 of Cups. And with that hanged man, it feels like, to me, it's like you're confident, you know what you're doing, and you're taking your time and really thinking about the next steps and not rushing in, because this is something that clearly is very important to you. I mean, I don't feel a lot of, intuitively, I don't feel a lot of lovey-doveyness here yet. But 10 of Cups and 4 of Wands is there. And so that energy absolutely indicates strong foundation, right? The message is there. The cards are clear. That does absolutely indicate that you want to. And certainly you see this relationship and your role in it as a vehicle to that ultimate love. Now, your person, lovers, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Lovers energy and 7 of Pentacles. So a real appreciation for where they're at, a real appreciation. 7 of Pentacles is appreciation and gratitude for how much you've accomplished. It's gratitude for what you've achieved so far on your path, right? What you've it's gratitude. It's taking a moment to reevaluate what you have. It's taking a moment to smell the roses, to go into your garden. You've put a lot of effort and work in, and it's time now to sort of figure out where you're at, figure out what have you achieved what you wanted to achieve? Does it look like what you wanted to look like? It's 7 of Pentacles is a real checking in with yourself. But it can also be here, Virgo, that your person is very much ready to move on to this love connection with you. It's like, before this point, there's competition and a lot of weighing out. They have a decision to make. It clearly is that they have other people who've come into them that may be wanting to be with them in some way. That's just the message. So again, that's why I go back to some kind of setup or arranged situation. But again, if it isn't so contrived, if it's just a case of there's other people who are interested in them and they're trying to make up their mind, you both do. It feels like very much at the same time realize that the best decision here is each other, right? The best decision here is each other. I think they do choose to want something with you. Fool energy is there. And you also feel like you know that there's a deep intuition here, Virgo, that this is the right connection for you. That you have confidence and that this is going to be prosperous. It's going to be love. Listen, High Priestess and Fool energy. These are the cards in a position for possible sort of next steps, next energies, outcomes, actions that you may take at the end stage of this particular energy cycle. For you, yeah, High Priestess, listen, she is the keeper of secrets, but she's also the keeper of sacred knowledge. And it just feels like there's something you know that nobody else knows. You're clocked into some kind of understanding. I think there's a high degree of intuition for you coming in, if it hasn't already, or if it's not your constant state. If you do tap into your intuition, in either case, it'll be ramping up. And there's just a feeling of really knowing here what's going to be best, how to move forward. You're going to be able to just read the situation very, very well. And for those of you who are dealing with expanded families and cultures and other people involved in all this, Virgo, you're going to have everything you need to know where everyone is coming from within a High Priestess. And at the same time, keeping your cards very, very close to you. Full energy for your person. They're willing to take this new leap with you. They're willing to start this new adventure. Right. So yes, this is the beginning of a new connection, but it's the beginning of a new connection that comes through in a very sort of, I don't want to say that it's awkward, but there's a real cool, extended cool period here in the beginning where in particular your person is, they may not be giving up as much heat as they truly feel or wherever they then land. But trust me, they're willing to take that leap. So this is it, Virgo. Let's go ahead and take out your rune stones for signs, astrological signs that you may be dealing with in this connection. Some of you are dealing with a Taurus. All right, we'll put that right there. Some of you are dealing with a Taurus. Some of you are dealing with an Aries. Wow. That right on the Emperor, even though that Emperor energy it's Leo energy. It feels more, it's more like Leo energy. But some of you are dealing with a Cancer, and that's that love. Wow. Taurus, Aries, Cancer. Listen, some of you are dealing with somebody who has that energy in their chart. They may have that sun or they may not, and that's fine. You may have that energy in your chart. However it makes, however it resonates for you, and however it helps you to connect the dots in your life to your particular version of this story. All right, guys, that's all that matters. So I am going to go ahead over to the extended reading. If you'd like to join me, just go to that link that's at the top of the description. And for the rest, I'm just going to say thank you very much for joining me for your weekly love tarot reading, Virgo. I wish you and everyone in your life love, life, and happiness. And I hope to see you right back on my channel for your next tarot reading. Bye-bye, guys.